we said that, unless he gets into the fight, it's going to be a disastrous start for him, and it was more than a disastrous start.
Would you want to see Dillian retire?
Yeah, cool, 100%.
Look, if he is retiring, he's had an amazing career, and let's do it properly, right? Let's have a proper retirement, not just a 17-second Instagram post, right?
Everyone was shocked when Dillian Whyte said he's retiring, but after what happened, he really had no choice. The fight with Moses Itauma ended before it even began. One huge punch in the first round, and Whyte was on the floor with no chance to get up again. Even Eddie Hearn couldn't hide it, saying the sport has moved past him and it's all over now. That knockout didn't just stop the fight, it also broke the last piece of Whyte's career and left his name fading away.
To retire when your physicalities change. Your punch resistance isn't as good. Maybe you're a bit slower. Maybe your desire's not there.
Johnny Nelson didn't waste any words. He's seen this story before. When Whyte says he's retired, it feels more like a broken promise than a real goodbye. The truth is, getting knocked out by Moses Itauma in just one round leaves nothing to explain. Nelson knows it. The fans know it. This wasn't a choice at all. It was giving up.
He is trying to get attention, he's trying to stay in the limelight and keep in the public eye, or is he trying to do it as a negotiating ploy, so when he's retired it's going to cost a bit more money to get him out of retirement? But either way, if I'm totally honest, I'm getting...
Carl Froch doesn't hold back either. He calls out Whyte's real reason for this so-called retirement. Froch makes it clear, this isn't about respect, it's about attention. Whyte knows Moses Itauma exposed him badly, so now he hides behind drama to keep his name in the news. But fans aren't falling for it anymore. Froch says what everyone already feels, Whyte's excuses are old, his act is finished, and Moses has already taken the spotlight for good.
Mojo from Dillian, but listen, it's very difficult when you're 38 years old. You've been out of the ring for a couple of years and you've just had that Tete fight, and you fight a brilliant young sharp fighter. We said that, unless he gets into the fight, it's going to be a disastrous start for him, and it was more than a disastrous start.
Would you want to see Dillian retire?
Yeah, cool, 100%.
What next for Moses? Because there was talk about Usyk and
I wanted to see him in with a live, active heavyweight, because he's definitely good in...
Eddie Hearn doesn't try to hide the truth. At 38, with little activity, walking into a fight with a young lion like Moses was always going to end badly, and it did. Eddie makes it clear YT is finished. Any dream of fighting Usyk or another top name is gone. Moses didn't just beat him, he erased his place in the boxing talks completely.
Hey, listen, you got caught with the head on the temple, and then after that it was a long night for him. I'm a bit sad because I didn't want him to go out like that.
Is that because of the fights you've had with him?
No, it's because that he's never boxed a southpaw. That's the first southpaw he's boxed in how long? It's maybe his whole career.
Greg Chisora, a man who's been in wars with YT, says it's a sad way for things to end. But sadness can't hide the truth. YT never changed, never grew as a fighter, and Moses showed all of those weaknesses in just one brutal round. Chisora stays loyal to him, but deep down he knows that Temple shot wasn't just a punch, it was the final full stop on YT's career.
I think Moses could make it an early night. He could take what possibly could be a test, a step up, and actually ace it. I think it could be earlier than the odds makers even think.
Teddy Atlas keeps it simple. He calls Moses a young monster who doesn't just pass the test, he smashes it. Against Dillian Whyte, a man who once thought he was still a contender, Moses didn't just win, he embarrassed him in record time. Atlas says it best. This wasn't only a fight, it was proof Moses is on a whole different level than people thought. The scary part? He made it look easy. Moses walked in calm like a champion, but finished hungry like a kid still climbing. For Whyte, it was over before it even began. Atlas is right. Moses doesn't play with his food, he destroys it. And that's why he's the most dangerous prospect in boxing today. If he can take apart a veteran this easily, just imagine what happens when the stage gets even bigger.
No, I think it's extremely disrespectful to have that approach. Like I say, nothing but respect with Dillian. Really appreciate him giving us the opportunity. And yeah, I think, you know, Moses deserves all the credit that he should be getting.
When Ben Davidson gave his thoughts, he couldn't pretend the gap wasn't huge. He showed respect to Whitey as a man, but gave full credit to Moses Itauma for what he did. Let's be real, nobody thought it would be that fast, that brutal. Davidson made it clear this wasn't luck. It wasn't a mistake. It was Moses showing his true level. Whitey was brave to step up, but he walked right into a buzzsaw. Before the fight, people kept saying Moses was too young or not tested. But once the bell rang, all that talk disappeared. Davidson said it best. If you get wiped out in one round, the only thing left to do is give respect. Moses earned the spotlight because he didn't just win, he destroyed Whitey. And he did it in a way that made the whole boxing world stop and pay attention. Sure, respect to Dillian, but the future, it belongs to Moses.
British fight fans, because we've got a chance to make the biggest fight in boxing, but you know, if that is the last we see of him, he's had a great career. I doubt it, but you know, it's always best to come into retirement to make sure someone pays you to come out of retirement. But if that's his lot, much respect to him and wish him all.
And then Eddie Hearn doubled down with his blunt take on YT's so-called retirement. Hearn knows the business and he knows Dillian better than most, which is why his words hit hard. This isn't about walking away with honor. It's about saving face after Moses Itauma embarrassed him. Eddie pretty much admits it. YT will only stay retired until someone waves enough money in front of him. But here's the truth. What promoter is paying top dollar for a man who got knocked out in one round? Moses shattered the image Dillian built over years, and Hearn's message is clear. If this really is the end, at least he had a solid run. But if he comes back, it's nothing more than a payday grab. Fans don't want reruns. They want the new blood, the killer, the next big thing. And right now, that's Moses, not Dillian.
I thought we would beat Dillian Whyte, but not with that ease. He looked so comfortable, like saying the build-up, in the changing room, his ring walk, his whole sort of demeanour once he had actually got into the ring. You know, for a young guy of only 20 years of age, to hold down all that pressure and not show it, that's quite impressive. But what was...
Duke McKenzie captures the jaw-dropping reality. Moses Itauma didn't just beat Whitey, he made it look like a sparring session. From the dressing room to the ring walk, right into the opening bell, his composure was unreal for a 20-year-old. Pressure usually breaks young fighters, but for Moses, it seems to fuel him. That's why the knockout landed so heavily, not just on Whitey's chin, but across the entire heavyweight division. McKenzie admits he expected Moses to win, but not like this. Nobody did, and that's the scariest part. If he can dismantle a veteran this effortlessly, what happens when he faces true elite opposition? At just 20, Moses is calm, ruthless, and already crushing men with far more experience. McKenzie puts it simply, this wasn't just a win, it was a statement to the boxing world.
So questions here this afternoon about whether we will indeed see him back in the ring. I suppose it's difficult for you to say, Frank.
Well, it is, but I don't believe we will. I think that's the decision he's made. And we've had, I mean, what he's given to British boxing.
Frank Warren offers respect, and rightly so. Dillian Whyte has been a fixture in British boxing for years. But let's be honest, this wasn't a graceful exit on his own terms. This was a forced retirement, and the man who forced it was Moses Itauma. Warren strikes the balance. Yes, Whitey gave fans unforgettable nights, rivalries, and drama, but against Moses, all of that history crumbled in a single round. Warren's words almost read like a eulogy, a farewell to a fighter who gave everything but no longer belongs at the top. And that's what makes Moses' performance so significant. In one night, he didn't just beat a veteran, he closed his chapter. Whitey's name will now forever be tied to the night a 20-year-old phenom sent him into retirement. Warren's respect is valid, but the cold truth remains. Boxing is a young man's game, and Moses Itauma just wrote the final line in Whitey's story.
Moses Itauma certainly doesn't owe us any extra rounds, any extra time in fight. He wants to go out there and get rid of these guys as soon as possible, which is why he is so exciting, and which is why, for me, even before tonight, for me, he's the best prospect.
Dave Coldwell captures exactly what every fan felt watching Moses dismantle Dillian Whyte. This kid is pure excitement. He doesn't drag fights out, doesn't play games, doesn't even give opponents a second to breathe. Coldwell points out the truth. Moses doesn't owe anyone extra rounds. His job is to win, and he does it with chilling efficiency. That's why even before this demolition, he was already considered the best prospect in world boxing. Now there's no debate. Beating a name like Whyte, someone once in the mix with AJ Fury and Wilder, instantly validates the hype. The beauty lies in the ruthlessness. Moses steps through the ropes with a single intention: destroy. No padding the record, no cautious approaches, just pure devastation. Coldwell's excitement mirrors a new wave of fans rallying behind him because Moses brings back that raw, Tyson-like aura the heavyweight scene has been missing. Whyte thought his veteran tricks might slow the young gun down. Instead, he learned the hard way. Moses doesn't just take names, he erases them. And that's why he's already the most electrifying prospect in world boxing.
I didn't expect that. Did you expect that?
Hey, this is a young kid, 20 years old, with devastating knockout power, bro. This have Mike Tyson type of energy all over it. Yeah, he's going to give these tough guys, he's going to give these veterans a hell of a time, bro. He's poised, he's patient, and he got that knockout power. He know how to set it up. It's going to be a nightmare to get rid of this.
Antonio Tarver took it even further, daring to compare Moses to none other than a young Mike Tyson, and he didn't hold back. Moses has that Tyson energy written all over him. After what we saw against Dillian Whyte, how can anyone really disagree? At just 20 years old, Moses carries that rare mix of patience and explosiveness. He doesn't rush, doesn't waste punches, but the second he spots an opening, it's lights out. That's exactly what he did to Whyte. Tarver nails the veteran's perspective. Facing Moses will be a nightmare. Experience won't save you when his timing, composure, and frightening knockout power collide in the ring. What's most chilling is his maturity. He knows how to set traps, how to deliver the finish, and he does it with a coldness far beyond his years. Whyte learned that the hard way, and Tarver's Tyson comparison isn't just hype, it's a reflection of how Moses makes fans feel: danger, excitement, unpredictability. The heavyweight division has been waiting for its next true wrecking ball. With Whyte's chapter closed, Moses has stepped forward as the man everyone now fears.